Hello everyone, welcome to episode 20, and I just happened to be on the religion layer. But we are now going to be focusing on today's episode, which episode 20, huge milestone in my opinion. Congratulations to the series for for being 20 episodes old. But now we're going to move on to something that should have happened a long time ago. The Russians um invading into Latvia as they, despite being in a alliance all the way over here. Um, yeah, it turns out there was a major thing that happened, and let me just show you real quick the world map. This is the military alliance. Let me just from this to this. That kind of crumbles immediately because turns out there was a lot of political things happening, and so yeah, we're not going to be seeing many military alliances for a while. But now we're going to begin to see the Russian invasion into Latvia. Though they could have invaded into Finland, Finland is actually seen as more capable compared to Latvia, because Latvia is a more new country compared to Finland. Now let's go ahead and begin our invasion of Ukraine, no, into Latvia, as they will quickly begin to rush through these territories of uh, of Latvia, which will soon quickly crumble and turn into something like this. And it quickly becomes pronounced to Latvia that they are gonna lose stuff like that. So yeah, yeah, and we're gonna continue to see the Russians invade fully until we get a newcomer, the Polish. They're not going to be initially taking away this amount of land. They will begin their invasion from the coastal areas all the way over here, as Polish ethnic group all the way over there is not highly prominent. But if we move a little further, where the Finnish are, that's where they are, and some of that Polish ethnicity is all the way up here. So they're like, oh, we're trying to regain ethnic Polish people. So they're like, oh, we should quickly gain a bunch of territory and stuff like that. So they will quickly do it, which is kind of why they have been on this expansive streak, though they haven't really been all the way down here. They're kind of wanting to move into the red team over here a little, and into the Ukrainians, but there's a few ethnic Germans up here, though they don't see it as useful lands, though it used to be their previous lands and stuff. So they'll begin to meet up with the Russians. The Russians don't know how to feel about it, but they'll continue to be neutral towards them and say like, "Oh, sure, we'll fight alongside of you for now, but this does not mean anything," stuff like that. But we'll quickly see the Polish just take over the capital, and the rest will fall over to the Russians. Now, peace treaty time. All right, I just got the peace treaty, and Latvia will just cease to exist. The Russians did not get their warm water port or access to the Baltic Sea because they actually really want to trade with all the other nations easier without having to go through the sea, Greece, all the way over here, the Mediterranean Sea, and all the way up here and trade with them. They also don't want to come through all the way up here because it's really difficult to move through these icy water areas. So they're basically wanting a warm water port. But now we'll see their claimed territories to become something like this. This will be called the Treaty of Boleshvik. I'm pretty sure that's a real city. It's just not around this area, this right here. But this is what we have the borders looking like, and it kind of looks weird, something like from World War One in real life. But now we'll begin to see the invasion of Finland. Beforehand, we do see an exchange all the way up here. Let me just quickly draw that in. All right, I just came back from this, and this is what we have it looking like. So yeah, though it looks like they lost a lot of land, which is true, these weren't important areas, but northern Sweden, Finland thing was always investing into this. So they were like, sure, we'll do a trade deal where we will buy this. So holy crap. Okay, there we go. And now we'll see the jumping of Finland, which was already hinted at in the early on beginning of the video. Though we will see Russia quickly begin to move into these areas, but Finland will push back heavily, say like, no, you're not allowed into this area. but there's a lot of back and forth in the northern territories trying to protect their capital. Though all the way up here will not be as simply protected. As if I believe correctly, there used to be a real war between these two, but that was soon resolved after the World War One with the Great War with the Greeks and Polish on the Polish expansion downgrade. That's World War Two. So yeah, that kind of thing went off and on. Though we do see a lot of areas where the Russians have pushed back, but a lot of areas where the Russians could have gone, but again were pushed back by the Finnish. And then surprisingly, but not surprisingly, we will see the Finnish join on the side of the Russians, but not really on the side of the Russians, as they are joining for their own benefits, as they will quickly take over Estonia, as the were originally ethnic German lands, which still are. They're going to spread a little bit up above, as they are trying to block off the Russians from reaching the Baltic Sea or the Finnish Gulf, which I believe is what it's called over here in real life. But we see the Prussians or Polish quickly begin to move into these areas all the way up here, and Finland will be like, okay, you know what? Screw this, and their entire elite forces, just like all of their city councils or like the capital forces, just like include the government and just flee over to Sweden, northern Sweden. Because these two countries weren't going after the president, but just in case they wanted to like kill him for suppressing people or something like that, they can't. Which was Poland's original plan, but they like, uh, you know what? Sure, land is land. But we will see the complete fall of the Finnish, as since their leader had basically abandoned them. Their capital will be split into two different pieces. Let me just take off the capital layer. Trying to check if I. Okay, you know what? But we're just gonna have that. But we're gonna see the uh Russians like splitting up the capital region all the way down here up to like that point a little, and even more down here. But the Polish are blocking them off heavily, which look like this, and they kind of just blocked them off the entirety of sea access, and they even somehow managed to reach this Gulf area up there. Oh yeah, this island. Peace treaty time. I just got done with the peace treaty, and this is what it looks like. Sadly, sadly for the Polish, the Russians did get access to the Persian or to the not Persian Gulf. They don't even have that far access, anyways. But we see the Russians have access all the way to the Persian Finnish Gulf, not Persian, but the Finnish Gulf. They have complete access and have expanded their claims into Scandinavian territories. But the Polish are now completely dispersuading or uh, persuading the Russians like stay out of this, out of the Europe territories up here. Like you should not be allowed here. Bad, bad, bad Russia. So Russia will be like, okay, geez. So y'all will see an update of that in a second. But now we're gonna see the Finnish updates. Now we'll see the Finnish get annexed by the Northern Swedish, which they happily accept integrated into, despite being in separate religions, almost four to almost five separate religions, which one, two, three, four different religions. Yes, four. It would have been five if they have integrated with the Swedish, but they have the most amount of population in this entire country. The entire population is along the coast right here, and even where this major city is, it's like right there, and even all the way down here. So all the areas circled in within the white lines. There's like one major city right up here. It's just not updated yet, but these are where population is highest in the northern Swedish territories. Now on to what I was talking about for the Russians, as we'll also see the daily Iran update over here. Oh great. As now we'll completely see the Saudi Arabian government say like, no, you're not allowed to come here. So the Persian government will be like, fine, Fine. Stay out of we'll stay out of your dirty country, dirty religious country, which is seen as an insult to Saudi Arabia and Greek and to anyone else who harbors any of these religions. But Pakistan will be like, sure, go right ahead. You're so strong. So strong. Wah, wah. Now, Red Team. They're extremely diverse. They don't have any Orange Team religion. In fact, they even somehow have some Brown Team religion all the way up here. Which I'm now starting to wonder, where did that come from? Oh well. But like Brown Team religion will be like, oh no, this is Red religion. Oh, but we will see them be like, "Oh, you are not allowed to declare war onto us." But just move on to the main map. Every single country does not like you. You're harboring religions that they technically do not like. So we'll see declaration of war on all three countries surrounding them: Russia, Iran, and Central Asia, the Central Asian Empire at this point. As now the Russians will make a swift invasion into the Caspian territories down here, as that is what their goal is, kind of, and to expand religion. But the Red Team will keep them simply out of their own territory, and to the Russian surprise, they will begin to move into their territory. This was not originally planned, and remember, the Red Team, the Central Red Team right here, is extremely weak, and they're able to do this much damage to the Russians. Oh, it turned out they were just drinking vodka. Yeah, the Russian team's army is just drinking vodka. Never mind, that's just normal. But yeah. So it turns out since they had expanded this bad into their own territory, um, it gets to a point where now they completely have their capital well protected, which the Russians will begin to move into their own territory a little, or back into their territory a little. It didn't really get too successful till late end of the war, where now the Red Team controls this entire sea right here, which they will quickly move into their territories that you had just recently been into. So that really works, as now they completely don't border the Red Team up here in the northern region. Now, Iran, we will begin to see you invade into the Caspian territories over here, aiming to cut off any ties with any other nation, specifically Caucasia, which successfully works until they had reached around the Russian point around that much, but still had done even more work than them. As the Red Team will continue to get aid by a unknown nation, and they'll have repelled them around that much, and unknown nation, I mean nations, as it's multiple, not going to say how many, as the Red Team will quickly begin, Red Central Asian team will quickly push them back around to this point. So that works out for them. And then we will finally see the Central Asians join in, as they will begin to move into through the northern territories, as their goal is population. As if we look at their population compared to Iran, they may look like they have more, it's just sparsely spread out cities. Kind of like the northern Russian team, as most of their population is all the way on the south, all the way down here. I think y'all can see that. But that's where most of the population is, and yeah. As now we begin to see their specialized army, which is better than the Russians. They will move in and occupy around this much of their territory, and they will not move into anywhere else, which says like, oh, thank you. So they will just take around this much from the Russians, and the Russians will be like, all right, you've done enough. So they'll push back all the way around to that point, all the way up there. But down here, that's where it's a different story, as they had barely beat them back to their capital coast over here, like where the capital meets up the coastline. They only got like 4 pixels right there, until they finally managed to break through this entire front line and destroy it, and expand their front line heavily around here, where now it's just their capital city left. Yeah, all the way up here, the Central Asians, they like devouring. That's all I'm gonna say as them. Yeah, they take up this amount, and the rest will just fall to that, and the Persians will just take that. No, no, no. No, 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 up here. Thank you. Thank you. Boom. And now the Russians will finally beat them back. And we'll finally have the split up of the Red Central Asian team. The Red Kota, the, the Treaty of Kota. Now, the Treaty of Kota commences, and this is what we end up getting at the final result, where we see Russia take around as a this much territory away from the Red Central Asian team. As you could tell, they simply do not exist, as the biggest amount will go over um, to the Central Asians. The second largest and most valuable will go over to the Russians over here, and the least of everything will go over to the Iranians. So yeah, that kind of sucks. It's now you can tell, you can kind of see that the Russians want to fight against the Central Asians, but are simply not powerful enough. And thanks to the new added populations to both of these countries, tensions are rising even higher. But they make a simple treaty saying we won't attack each other until Iran loses around this, until they reach this state where um like the Central Asians can take around that much. The Pakistanis will take around this much. The Russians will take this much. The Caucasians will just take this much right there. The central Iraqis will take a little bit, and so will the Saudis. But yeah, they kind of want them to reduce down to size by a lot, so they will make a treaty saying we won't attack each other until this nation ceases to exist or something like that. By the way, I'm recording this at 1 o'clock in the morning, so I'm having sleep get to me right now. Ooh. Anyways, now we'll see a little bit of progress on the daily Chinese update. As now we'll see something major happening, testing their new union. We'll see little things happen all the way over here all the way in the western region, all the way up here, and all the way over here where it is leastly populated. As you can tell, most of the other population areas, even to some extent all the way down here, also agrees with the rest of the country. We deserve some recognition. Where is it? Where's our recognition? As they see, around this much of the country is hating the eastern side, which now puts at a little point where now the Chinese government needs to change it. Their religion needs to change. Their economic alliance needs to change, which I just realized. It just should. Yeah, I thought everything was updated. Apparently not. World Committee is the same, which I believe I had fully updated. Yeah. Oh my god. And if we look at the Alliant ideologies, they are an isolationist nation, so that's when they realize the only reason why the eastern half is doing great is because they're profiting off of western half poor. So they'll be like, we need a new ideology to invest, something we haven't tried before. Monarchy, no, they've tried it. So, no, they've tried it. So what about democracy? No, they've also tried it. What about blood? I guess, but it's too similar to democracy. So no. Greek fascism? No, it's too close to fascism. We can't do that. They finally roll up with uh communism. They're like, what about this? They're like, oh my gosh, where did this thing come from? They're in love with it and everything. And this is when the entire western half begins to grow a lot, where at a point they're like, is something wrong? What did we do? Like, how did we get the West to be so economically stable? This was not the plan. All the way over here is now completely economically stable with the entire eastern region, which makes them uncomfortable that they chose communism, but they can't really stray too far from that. Now the Tibetans. Oh gosh. The religions, completely complex. And also, all the way up here, we're going to begin to see religion slowly going out. As now we will see the Russians forcing some people out of their country. At some extent, some Ukrainian people, along with some Finnish, Polish, and Central Asians. As I think they're even beginning to expand into territory that is not theirs. Yeah. So the entire Central Asian team will be like, you have messed up. This is the entire Central Asians, and now they will begin to promote their religion all the way out here, which will work out successfully, as there's not a whole lot of people, except for this little pocket over here, which will slowly go into their religion. Now the green team religion, the blue, those are extremely popular, so they want to keep it that way. Red can also stay, but at some extent, it's going to have to be shortened. So we'll actually see them shorten or carve or chip away at the red team religion. And they want it to have an entire section rather than an entire chunk. They only want it to be around, they only want the red team religion to be down to that size. So instead, they'll just grow the other two religions all the way over here until till the to yeah, until this point where now it's just two competing religions fighting, which doesn't really work well for your country. So they'll be like, you know what, we'll kind of move past religion, except for over here. They completely stay the same, except for down here. Yeah, they get eradicated. So yeah, this country all the way up here, though, they begin to embrace the the theme. I'm just gonna check if okay, good. They're just gonna embrace the pink religion. Um, so yeah, no one likes them whatsoever. Now the green team, on the other hand, over here, they have been around for like a few hundred years. They love the blue religion, so they'll be like, "Oh, why do we have to keep this stupid pink religion?" So yeah, they completely kick them out. How crazy is that? When did we see that in history before? Now the Chinese, oh, they'll force their religion into ethnic Korean territories all the way up here, which will slowly and slowly become more Chinese, at a point where now their entire country over here is completely Chinese, Northern Chinese to be specific. But all the way over here, on the other hand, it is really difficult to get all the blue blue Chinese citizens over here to completely convert. At some point, it originally looked like this, will look like this, and which will actually change because I don't like it, as we will see the Northern Chinese expand only around that much. But the Southern Chinese will actually grow shorter, with the Bangladesh religion all the way over here expanding a little, or Northern Indian religions expand a little all the way into Southern China, as this was unbeknownst to them, as they wanted to create an uprising. So yeah, they're gone. Yeah, then Southern Chinese also tried to expand into blue ethnic areas, which just does not go well for them because those people are extremely nationalistic about their religion. Also, this entire country becomes their own religion. So yeah, that makes around two and almost four Korea, um, Green Mongolia. So I want to say Thailand. Hmm, it's really difficult to say. Most likely, okay, I'm just gonna say this. Most likely Iran, Pakistan, Tibet, Green Mongolian team, which is all the way up here. Let me just draw a little line. All the way up over here. This is where the Green Mongolians are. But the northern middle Russia up here, so that would put it around five entire nations that are completely like they want their religion to prevail in everything, unless we count the Greeks, which are around 90% taken care of. Boom. As it's mostly this green area over there and this red thing. and even to some extent all the way over here, as they'll even expand their colonial region over there, which will just let me they'll just yeah, they'll just like completely kick out the Iranian religion over here, like it's left to the tip of Brazil and all the way into the inside of Brazil, and even to some extent the light green religion over there, which was caused by the Thailands, which I believe their entire country is also ruled by the theocracies, as they roll around this much, and China, Korea, which still rule a very large part, and now France. Yeah, that's gonna be a painkiller. Now all the way up here, they are most definitely yeah. I'm just gonna just like go and fill this in while y'all are watching. As this is most likely all blue religion, except for like a little bit of regions over here, which is slightly Korean, like that. Even to some extent down here, but like this is the French colonies. Oh crap! You are supposed to be blank. You are supposed to be blank. So I'm just gonna solve this for you. Don't tell me it's um. Okay, there we go. There we go. Where is that sound? Y'all can't hear it. I can. As now, this is what the entire. Wow. My gosh, that is a little frustrating. All the way up here, just like trying to clear everything out. Come on, thank you. Oh my gosh. Holy crap. Why me? Why? Let me do this in a second. Alright, everything is updated, and now we'll begin to move on to over here. Oh, great, Iran. Oh, great, Iran. As you'll begin to see, Iran slowly begin to move into these new territories and just like it doesn't matter who you are, man or child, they'll just simply replace you with anything. Holy crap, that is annoying. Thought I fixed everything. Oh my gosh, bro. I hate these little sneakers. What if it was just all the ones that we made along the way? Technically it was. Yep, I knew it. All the way up here. All right, that's gonna be it that I'm gonna be updating for that. But now the entirety of the Iranian team is now back underneath the pink religion, and just Iran. Oh, you're the gold Eastern African team from Aedis Pro Wisco. Oh, great. Just transfer it over to Wisco. Oh, that's just wonderful. Now we'll begin to see Iran, or not Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Yemen. They'll make a pact and they'll make another trade deal where they'll trade back the old piece of territory all the way over here, and they'll just trade around this much and this little island over here, where they'll just simply just swap back over, with a few other exceptions, as now we'll begin to see Yemen expand all the way over here into the Indian coast, which was Yemen's exception, which at first, obviously, the Saudis didn't agree to it because, like, that is something crazy you would suggest, but they'll accept to it a little bit, and they'll think about it for a little bit, and they'll accept around this much territory where it mostly moved inland rather than all the way out here, except for this little sliver, which will just be transferred over to the Saudis after like 30 years. So it'll stay like that for a bit, and the Saudis will just boom. There's a lot of trading going on over here. I don't like this border. I don't like it. I don't like it still. Why don't it's because of you, this area over here. I don't like you. Okay, I guess that's somewhat better. Now we'll see the Egyptians go to war with the Sudanese, which I'm just not gonna waste my time with it because I just know it already. Yeah, the Egypts will just go ahead and take over that. Now, northern India and Thailand. Oh, there's gonna be a little bit of a conflict. Yeah, I'm just gonna flat out say it. There's gonna be another conflict happening all the way over here. Oh, and we'll start off with the northern Indians rushing into Thailand's territory all the way into the Myanmar territories all the way over here, which will just simply run all the way down. And yeah, the Thailands will see this. They'll be like, "How dare you do this against our own king or queen, whatever." And yeah, 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 the Thailands in this universe are extremely strong. They're like, you can't do this to our king and queen. They're extremely nationalistic and stuff like that, which I should make its own. Interesting. Okay. And Thailand kind of just annexes this away from them. They kind of just like go yoink. Yeah, like it's actually like one of the most perfect lines in the world in this scenario. And now we will see a peace treaty get drawn out. And this is the peace treaty I came up with, and now we'll see the Thailands take over this amount of territory, and the Tibetans were enough take enough territory. I did not. Okay, the Tibetans took away a little bit of territory because I did not want to show it, saying like how they took around this amount of territory. I thought it was insignificant and stuff like that, so I just made it a part of the Thailand team. So yeah, everyone's realizing that Northern India is incompetent. They can't accomplish anything in their life. Insulting them, basically. Another peace deal I do not like. As we'll see, another deal be made between the two, take around this much territory again, and I'm more comfortable with that peace treaty. Though it would be nice to see them take back this amount of territory right here. And yeah, this is episode 20 coming off with a bang, as we will see the start of a new world war coming in 3 episodes. Nice to see y'all, and peace out.